How's it going?
Good.
Welcome to the Co-Founder Meetup. How many of you, this is your first time at the Co-Founder Meetup? Oh my gosh, look at all these newbies. This is exciting. Well, welcome. Let me make sure I have my clicker here. So we're getting started just maybe a couple minutes early. My name is Melissa. Last name is Murphy. I am the founder and chief communication coach of the Pitch Academy and a really good friend of the Tech Map. So I'm going to be your MC for the evening. I'll try and crack some jokes, but I can't promise anything super funny. But I can promise that you're going to see some really cool pitches tonight. Have a really good time. Make sure you help yourselves to some snacks in the back of the room. I see that many of you have already grabbed a beverage, which is great to see. We want you tweeting all about the Tech Map tonight, all about the Co-Founder Meetup, because this is one of the greatest events that I've been associated with here in the startup ecosystem in the great city of Austin. So let's go ahead and get started. So the Tech Map, we're all about bringing the tech community together. So you all know, most of you probably have just gotten off work, right? How many of you have just gotten off work, right? Well, we all know that work is over at 5, but business happens in these very hours that you're going to be spending with us tonight and hopefully in the future months to come until you find a co-founder or all the people part of your wonderful startup team. So, oops. Okay, so hopefully when you've checked in the back, everyone has gotten a name tag. Looks like most of you are tagged up. And you should have a dot on your name tag, which is going to signify who you are and what you're doing here at the Co-Founder Meetup. So green, we have investors, so I can get a show of hand of what investors we have in the room. Couple, okay, awesome. Entrepreneurs, if you identify as an entrepreneur, get them up. Cool, sounds good. Developers and designers, good mix as well. And then media others. That's kind of where I identify. All right, good. So, what is the Tech Map? What is this Co-Founder Meetup about? Well, this is a networking event designed for you to help you start your startup. So whether you are looking for a designer, a developer, all of us are looking for investors, right? We're always looking for investors or media here to provide you different resources. This is the event that allows you to do so. So I'll show you a little bit about we're going to talk a little bit about what's going to happen tonight. So many of you are new to this meetup. We've done a little bit of networking, and we're going to have a lot of networking in store for you after the pitches. But what we have tonight is we have 6 very brave entrepreneurs pitching their businesses. And what they have is this is the following format. So they have 5 minutes to pitch, and then followed by 4 minutes of Q&A. So we're going to grill them, give them some really tough questions, possibly give them some really good feedback, some ideas for them as they move forward. And hopefully that will allow you all to connect with one another in a meaningful way. So, and we will network after, so more booze over there, okay? So here is the lineup for tonight. Again, we have 6 people pitching. We have Doc Booker, pitched by Burke Willis, looking for investors and a partner. We also have Itzat, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, pitched by Evan Phelps, looking for a whole bunch of people, investors, developer, and a technical co-founder at this point in time. Mobile EMR, pitched by Chris Cush, investors, developers, designers, partners, and all kinds of employees, so lots of people Chris is looking for. He just shared with me about his idea, sounds really cool. Pop-Up Play Toy, pitched by Brian Thomas, looking for a developer and also a partner. Stretch, pitched by Lauren Foster, developer and partner, and Sure Up, pitched by Thomas Coffey, also looking for investors and partners. So upcoming events for the Co-Founder Meetup, we meet here pretty much either it's the first or second Tuesday of every month on a Monday, and the next one is June 8th, my birthday. So you guys should all be here to celebrate. I'll be emceeing, while the Tech Map fearless leader will be vacationing in Europe for 2 months. So I'll be taking care of that night. So we hope that you find tonight meaningful, that you have a really good time, that you see some really interesting pitches, that inspires you in some way, hopefully, and you'll join us the next Monday, June 8th. Okay, and if you are interested in pitching next time, feel free to approach any of us after the event, and we'll get you signed up for the next coming events sometime this summer, hopefully. We want to get you up here. We want you to find your co-founder as soon as possible. So the more practice you get, the more exposure you get, maybe through our meetup, the happier we are in helping you successfully start your business. So team@thetechmap.com, and then here's the information to find a little bit more about the Tech Map. So this is brought to you by the lovely people to my right over here. I think we're going to talk a little bit about our sponsors now, aren't we? So also more information about how we can stay in touch.
Hi everyone. You guys are all quiet today, come on.
So quiet.
Yes. Are you guys excited to be here? Mother's Day yesterday, come on. You guys must have had a great weekend. I know I did. I still have a hangover from everything, so she's helping out. So a couple of the sponsors we want to bring up here is Pitch Deals, is a startup. If you want to come up, Christian, and say something about them.
Hey everyone, I'm Christian Matsigi and I'm a developer for Pitch Deals. It's really basic, kind of top it off a bit. We're kind of a price line for restaurants. It's kind of like the basic premise, and we're sponsoring with the co-founder Meetup and also the Tech Map. Thank you.
Oh, come on, they actually negotiate with us to get the food from Third Base. Even though Third Base is a sponsor, in the sense that Pitch Deals actually was able to get us 30% off the actual price. That's a good chunk of money if you think about all that food back there. But we appreciate Third Base for that, working with us. Profile Poacher, which is actually our photographer, which he didn't make it today. He actually told me that he had an emergency to help out people where it's raining a lot. There's floods and stuff. I don't know if you guys know where that's happening, but I heard probably Dallas. So he's out there for that. IBM, I was gonna have somebody from IBM Bluemix to say something, but I don't know if Chuck made it out here today. But if it didn't, let me know about, if anybody's interested to know more about IBM Bluemix. They actually are providing some codes for people to want to start up their company and put it up in the cloud. Druja Promos is actually the shirts that we have in the front. If you guys tweet right now, the first 20 people that tweet will get a free t-shirt. Just say @thetechmap.
Ooh, free t-shirts, yeah.
So we're doing that. And Capital Factory, of course, providing the awesome space here. The next one is the Awesome Phoenix, which is, they do parties and do magazines. They've been doing this for quite a while for startups, and they're helping promote your company as well. The next one will be MWR Legal. If you want to come up here. RC is my attorney.
Don't hold that against me. All right, so hi, I'm RC Rondero de Mosier. I am an attorney with MWR Legal. We used to have a firm called Ram Law Firm, and then we got acquired by MWR Legal in January. So happy to be a sponsor. Thanks for having us out here. I hang out over here, so it's easy to find me if you have any questions or you just want to complain about something to a lawyer, because I can't tell anyone else about it. So, yeah.
Thank you, Archie. And quick question, how many of you were at our event on Friday? Oh, guys, you guys missed an awesome party. I don't know what's going on here, but you guys should definitely come to our next party what we have here. We're gonna do a raffle. Lydia in the back there, she's an awesome volunteer ambassador, and she's gonna collect business cards if you guys wanna be part of it. There's a big event happening in Capital Factory, I believe it's the 29th or 28th of May this month. It's called NewCon. Nuco? What is it, Dina?
Nuco.co.
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 Okay, it's a bunch of, I believe it's kind of like a startup weekend.
Yeah, emerging startups, high growth, emerging startups.
Right, so we're gonna give one of those tickets away, so if you guys wanna participate, just drop your business card there and we'll draw it at the end. And whatever business card comes up, we'll give them access to come to the event, because there's a fee for that. The other person that I haven't mentioned here that's a sponsor, but it's on your sheets, is Serendipity Labs. They are actually a co-working space, kind of like Capital Factory, but in Chicago. We're gonna have our first event in Chicago on June 29th. So if you know anybody in Chicago, want to let them know about this event. It's going to start. It's going to be our first event there. We appreciate your support for you guys to let them know. And then we wanted to bring up 2 people. One of them is going to be Karen first. She's going to be talking about her success story when she actually pitched here a while back and where she's at with her status with her company. Karen, can you come to the front?
Round of applause for Karen.
I was about to hunt for my success story in my little bin, but I'll just describe it. So, first of all, I just want to thank Johan for, seriously, we're all here because, he's put all this together. So, and I will say that I have momentum because of this event. And so for all of you that are pitching today, just know, you don't know, or anybody who's an entrepreneur who's even thinking about it, just know you don't know exactly where those connections happen, but somewhere along the lines, even if it's not tonight, maybe it's the next one or the next one. It just happens. It's just walking out the front door and coming to something like this makes a difference. And with that being said, when I pitched here, it got me to South by. Pitching at South by got me lots of follow-ups to make, and also a lot of motivation, a lot of validation of my venture. And part of that meant that I made a phone call to, I don't know if anybody knows a guy named Than Merrill. He used to flip this house. Well, he's in the market of where my business resides as my business structure. And so it took me a little bit, but I got him on the phone and talked to him. He went to my site. He likes what he sees. I asked him for a letter of endorsement. He wanted to know what I wanted in it so that I could show investors. I sent him that. He sent me back a letter. So now I have a letter of endorsement to actually go forward with. That's essentially, I didn't know where that this would lead to that, but I'm very appreciative of it. So that's my update.
Thank you. So I think a lot of people know this, but we live cast this event, so people in Chicago, Miami, and LA are starting to watch this, and we record it afterwards and then post it on YouTube and other places just to get the word out what we're doing. And hopefully we'll be in South by Southwest next year, so we'll hope to bring a lot of co-founders up there to let people know what you guys are looking for. And the next person I want to bring up is Antonio, and his Kickstarter, he talked about it a couple of months ago, and he wanted to give you an update on that.
Well, thank you, Johan. So the story is this: 4 months ago in December, I did a Kickstarter. It failed. I came here. I've been coming here for several months. I came here. I presented the failed story, and then I got incredible participation from everyone. So I executed on that feedback, and the result is that we're funded.
Round of applause.
And for this, Johan, everyone, thank you.
He's raising 10,000, as you guys can see, he's already over that. So if you guys would like to get a cool lamp, definitely pledge for him. I'll talk to him later more about it. But at this point,
Yeah, I can take it back over. I just want to mention something about Antonio. I was here the night that he pitched this pretty lamp for the first time, and everyone was so confused about what this lamp did. And he has come so far in his, not only in the product, it's evolved in all these ways, but his pitching and his presence has come so far. So congratulations from Chief Communication Coach of the Pitch Academy in particular. So I'm really, really excited for you. That video was amazing. Wasn't that video so cool? He's gotten a lot of excitement even yesterday. He got all this love from the Capital Factory from one of the members, and so I wish you the best of luck. And I'm so excited to be a part of this journey with you. And this is all a part. High five. Yeah. All thanks to Johan and the TechMac and the co-founder community. This can be a reality for you as well. We can get you funded, we can find you partners, we can get you visibility. It's the power of the connection with all of our entrepreneurs here in this room. So, up first, Doc Booker. Ready? All right, Burke is here. Here you go.
All right, thanks. All right, thanks a lot. Okay, so we're going to go from really cool looking lamps, well, one of which I want in my house, to something that's really mundane, but where there's a lot of value. I want to talk to you about saving money for doctors while making their patients happier at the same time. My name's Burke Willis. It's Burke, not Bruce. He's my famous but much less handsome cousin. At least that's what I tell myself. Let's see. Good. Okay, great, thanks. Okay, now help me out. Raise your hand if you ever booked an airline flight online. Okay, now keep it up if and only if you think that saved the airline some money and it was a reasonably good experience for you. Okay, most of the hands still up. Okay, hands down. All right, now put your hand up if you've ever booked a doctor's appointment online. Okay, about half. Now keep your hand up if and only if you think it saved the doctor some money and was a reasonably good experience for you. Okay, 3, 4, 5. All right, why not? Why not? So I've been talking to some doctors about this and I've learned some interesting things. The one is that for every 4 or 5 doctors, there's one person who does nothing but answer the phone and book appointments. That's expensive. Something like conservatively $25,000, $30,000 per person. That's relatively inexpensive. That supports 4 or 5 doctors, so that's what, $5,000 to $7,000 per physician per year. And if you multiply that out, the value becomes pretty substantial. So if you can capture part of that, you can get people booking online. I don't know how many people will do it, a third, a half, 2/3. There's a significant amount of value there. Something like 200,000 primary care doctors in the US, something like 500,000 doctors, somewhere in between there. The size of the market there is that's going to be, $1.5, $2.5 billion, something like that. Now, why hasn't this been done yet? I'm going to spend some time on this. So first of all, the firms that could be doing it are focused elsewhere. EHRs, electronic health records companies, they're about managing medical records and billing. Some of them provide portals where you can go in and request an appointment, but that's not the same as booking an appointment. Medical lead generation companies, you might have heard of ZocDoc. I've used ZocDoc. If you type in, say, Austin podiatrist into Google, the top hit you're going to get is probably ZocDoc, which will tell you, we can find you a podiatrist, we've got reviews, we've got maps, we've got certifications, and you can book an appointment there. Well, you can request an appointment there. I used that and booked an appointment for 3 in the afternoon to do a physical. Got a call back from the doctor's office a few hours later, said, we see you booked your appointment for an annual physical for 3 in the afternoon on May 31st. We only do annual physicals in the morning, so we need to find a new time. Okay, great, so we found a new time for you. Thank you. And by the way, you need to know that you need to fast after midnight the night before. So I got off the phone, I thought, why did I do this online at all? I mean, what if I hadn't fasted after midnight, if I'd accidentally booked it in the morning? So it wasn't convenient for me, didn't save the doctor any money because they still had to have somebody check to see if I'd scheduled an appointment at the right time and have somebody get on the phone with me. And then there's general appointment booking time at a hair salon, something like that. That doesn't cover the special rules that apply when you're booking medical appointments. And by rules, I don't mean legal stuff. I mean, an example is a practice of 12 pediatricians that I talked to. They got a binder this thick for just those 12 pediatricians for how they schedule appointments. A well visit's 30 minutes, a sick visit's 10 minutes, unless the sick visit is an ADD evaluation for your child, in which case it's 30 minutes and you need to know nurse is going to call you to collect information ahead of time. Don't book more than 4 well visits in the course of any one morning or any one afternoon. Always save at least half a dozen 10-minute appointments until 24 hours before so that we have room for sick patients to come in. You get the picture, right? This is a solvable problem. This is a solvable problem. The question is really about getting the product right from how the interaction works, and then the marketing. So where am I? So this is very early stage. There is an alpha prototype that is available to show sort of how you flow from screen to screen. There's a full set of specs written. What I need right now is a technical co-founder because I come at this from the business analysis side of things, and then eventually investment for the beta stage. Thank you. What questions do you have?
What questions do you have? Round of applause. Any questions for Berg? Yes.
What's the key difference between what you're building and what's already on the market for booking appointments?
The key difference is you can actually book an appointment without having to have somebody call you back, because all of the rules that need to be followed for booking that appointment are in place. Every doctor will be able to set up their own set of customized rules, and that will then walk the patient through booking the appointment online. Takes away the need for the person to actually call you back.
Have you talked to doctors about this, and have they expressed interest? Like how easy it would be to acquire these doctors as new clients?
Yes, I have talked to a number of different practices around town, several doctors, CTOs, CEOs. The message that I've gotten is very, very interested. Come back to me when you've got a product and we'll talk.
Can you tell us more about yourself?
Myself, so I came to IT from the business side of things. I'm a former business consultant. I became an IT guy at, well, among other things, a big oil company that has a very bad name. And I'm now doing independent IT consulting, but from the business side. So thus the need for the technical co-founder.
What's the expected revenue model?
There's a couple of different options. So be software as a service. You could have a subscription. You could also pay per appointment that is booked online, or it could be a combination of the two. The least risk for the doctor's office is just pay per appointment booked online. And then as the number of appointments booked online rises, their need for people in their call center goes down.
Got a question back here.
So it sounds like from talking to the doctors that they want a product that's fully fleshed out, and it sounds like there's a lot of pieces that would need to be built in order for it to work. How are you going to try to get out the smallest product possible to start getting some feedback without having to build all of the logistics up front?
Yeah, thanks for that question. There's, I would say the beta version, the MVP is, I don't know how to paint this on a spectrum. I'd call it reasonably achievable, right? It's not a super hard problem. It's not a super hard technical problem to solve. It's really a sort of a business flow and work rules problem.
One more question.
We go up front.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about all of these rules that need to be implemented.
Mm-hmm.
You said that different doctors have different rules, obviously.
Right.
So one is like the limiting, the time limit. Another one could be like if you need to bring another doctor or a nurse. So how are you going to first of all, you need to somehow collect all these rules from different doctors and offices, but also how are you going to, store, implement, and process these rules? Have you thought about like any of the underlying technologies you're going to use?
So that's a good question. Let's talk more about that so we can get to the next one. But the short answer is the type of rules that they have follow a few patterns. And I've learned those patterns from talking to a number of different doctors and practices. And you can structure that in such a way that it's not too technically difficult to take all that into account when getting an appointment booked. And I guess the last comment about that is it would cover something like 99% of situations, right? That last 1% is probably still going to need a phone call, but something that's super complex like that, you're going to need a phone call anyways. We're not making a doctor any worse off than they were before with that. But we can talk more about that. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the
Great
question.
job.
And his signal's right here, so you guys can definitely write that down. I'll talk to him afterwards and give you more feedback.
So we have It's At next, Evan. But if you just came in, there's some seats up front here. You can want to join us up front. Also, bathrooms are just back through this hallway here. You're going to take a right past the fancy multicolored sign, and then another right, and the bathrooms are back that way. All right, Evan?
Yeah. Hey guys.
Hit it, man.
How's everyone doing? Good. Yeah, all right. I'm not doing so well. I just found out my boy Tom Brady got suspended for 4 games. Doesn't take away the elation of 4 Super Bowls. And to Cowboys fans, we have a week 4 bye, so you won't be seeing him in week 5. You're welcome. My name is Evan Phelps. I am the founder of Austin Social Innovation, and our product is called It's At. When I moved to Austin and took that first fateful walk down Dirty 6, all I wanted to do was build the go-to product for the nightlife. Dirty 6, by the way, was the best place on earth when I first moved here and quickly became a nightmare. I'm sure all of you have experienced that. And I was really confused why there wasn't a go-to product for the nightlife. So a couple years ago, I originally launched It's At, and soon realized why so many individuals had tried to succeed in this market and failed, and also came to the conclusion that I was likely going to fail as well. I was trying to build something social for a market that is already so inherently social. The real solution in this market is bridging the gap in a meaningful way between consumers and businesses and brands of the nightlife. Basically creating a digital marketplace for communication, data, and revenue. There's a lot of missed opportunities on both sides because there's not a go-to product and not a way for businesses and brands to reach their consumers in a meaningful way and influence their decision-making. That's where I came up with It's At. It's a business-facing hybrid mobile app and marketing tool. On the business side, we have an online web portal where businesses and brands and stakeholders, everything from bars, nightclubs, distributors, manufacturers, even promoters, can go in and push their businesses, products, and brands in their own way to try to influence our users' decision-making and have them spend money on their products or at their business. It's also important that they're able to track the data that matters to them so they can make more informed marketing decisions in the future. On the consumer side, this is the mobile app. It's pretty simple. In the top right, you have a search section where you can search by crowd type, venue type, music type, or by brand or keyword. That'll pull up a list of venues based on their proximity to you. There's a news section in the bottom right, which will let you know all the happenings going on during that night, any given time. And then in the bottom left, there's a cab section. It's really important to me that my users get home safe, and that's really accessible and easy to use. And then lastly, which is our core feature, which I'll talk about in a little bit, is Bar Goggles, which is an augmented reality tool that I built a demo for Dell, and they're going to be helping us as technology partners. So I'm really proud to say that in the past couple of years, I've built up some exceptional partnerships, including signing an agreement with the city of Austin. I also have great relationships with some of the big festivals, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and a lot of the liquor partners too, which is hugely important to drive their brands through our product and have our users make decisions around them and purchase them. and track the data too. There's not much data in the liquor industry because of the nature of it and the lack of technology in that space. There's a lot of compelling plays there, potentially. And lastly, which I'm really proud about, is this the Crossroads Coalition, which is a group of Texas Department of Transportation, ATX Safer Streets, the APD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and they want to drive their safe decision-making campaign through the app because it's a vehicle that's accessible within the nightlife. So this is the AR piece, which I think is hugely valuable to the nightlife in making real-time decisions. Let's take Yelp for an example and the restaurant industry. You can pretty much always tell what you're getting into when you look on Yelp based on the reviews or the amount of stars a business has. When it comes to the nightlife, it's so constantly evolving and there's so much going on. You never know what's happening. You never know what's, unless you go on, do 512, you can make one decision, but then once you're out, making a real-time decision and making the best of your night is very difficult. So we made a way for businesses to push content in real time, for users to hold up their phone, point it around, and based on their geolocation, figure out what's happening around music, events, specials, promotions, and other decisions, and drive that process and track that process as well. So when you click on any of the icons, you can see more information on it. You can go back or you can make a decision on that. That's what essentially Dell is interested in. It's applicable to other markets as well. So why is that? I think we provide a superior consumer experience. I'm building this with stakeholders and partners that really care about it and want this product to succeed. I'm not going to them and trying to push something down their throat. I'm saying, hey, what's important to you? Let's build this out together. It's flexible and scalable. Once I use the input of those partners, I can build a technology foundation that can translate to basically any market. And lastly, I surrounded myself with great people. I'm not perfect. I don't have all the skills, and that's why I'm here today. I have great advisors, partners, and support. So I'm looking for a technical co-founder, investment as well, but I want a team first. And yeah, full stack is ideal, but back end is really important to what I'm trying to do. And yeah, just someone that's ready to do big things and have fun. Thank you.
So what questions do you have for Evan? So if I'm really interested in hearing Dr. Dre's 2001 The Chronic album when I go out at night, am I going to be able to look that specifically for a DJ that's playing that in Austin?
No, you could find hip hop venue and search for a hip hop venue that way.
Okay, cool. Anybody else have questions here? Go ahead and shout then.
So is this going to just look based off geolocation as what's going on at a particular venue, or are you going to be able to actually look at things like the music that's being played, or go in there and take a picture of it, almost like a Google goggles type thing, or how exactly are you going to be able to observe with this app?
Yeah, so I mean the ideal goal is to have businesses engaged and putting up their their happenings and what's going on in their venue on any given night. I'm gonna have to kickstart the content process and get some businesses engaged and build up our user base. But there was a company that launched a few years ago that had this camera in the venue. It's a little bit invasive. We basically want businesses to push information that's important to them to draw people into that venue. So you basically are holding up your phone, and wherever you point it, based on that venue, so while you're out and about, businesses will cycle in and out, and you can see icons that can help you see, oh, this venue has live music around that, or this has a special, what's that special? Get a little bit more information, or go back to the main screen. If that answered your question.
Yeah, so could you do things like have drink specials running through this?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's really compelling for, there's no way right now for brands, it's illegal actually for like Budweiser to put a sign on the wall, but this circumnavigates that law because it's through a mobile app, so putting up that brand and driving decisions around that is hugely valuable to the liquor industry.
So the primary value is that you're driving new traffic to these venues?
Yeah, new traffic to the venues in addition to influencing people's decisions around certain brands.
Like pushing coupons, so like getting them there and then influencing their purchases?
Yeah, influencing purchases. In Texas, the TABC is a beast, so it's tough to do coupons around liquor, but just pushing advertisement around brands and influencing that decision once you go into a venue. If you see that this is being served here and it happens to be on special, you're more likely to buy it. And we can track that process too.
And in terms of the augmented reality, are you imagining something kind of like waypoints in a video game? Like depending on which way you're facing, a little like thing pops up into the view?
Yeah, exactly. So wherever you're looking, say I'm doing this, venues will cycle in and out as I turn.
Okay, one more question. All right.
How do you keep data from getting stale? Or how do you keep clients that don't want to pay you to advertise? So when I'm looking for my bar and I only get to see the 3 that are paying you, what about the 16 that aren't?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and that's something that I've had to deal with. When I originally launched, I went to 200 different bars and found out exactly what was happening on any night. It was tough, but I got it done. Yeah, it was my homework. But yeah, so I want to kickstart the process. Bars aren't going to sign up unless there's users, and users aren't going to join on unless there's content being pushed. So I'm not going to charge bars right off the bat. I'm trying to build with my my partners and stakeholders. I'm trying to build a business model in Austin and go make my money in the Miamis and the Las Vegases and the New Yorks and the other cities.
One question. You have this live already, the app, or no?
So the app was live 2 years ago when I originally launched. We just need to get it up to speed or up to the newest iOS. That's why I need capital. But yeah, it's close, and most of the capital and the work that I need to get done needs to build up the back-end portal so the businesses can push content, but also work with Dell on that augmented reality piece because I think that's a critical component to the app and driving decisions and influencing that.
Is there a specific stack that you're looking at developers so people know what kind of development code you're using?
Back-end. So, on Java.
Clearly not a.
Yeah, I'm not a tech guy.
That's why he's looking for your help. Thank you,
Evan. Whatever works. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that sounds really cool. So, mobile EMR is up next. Chris, come on up. I'll let you take Johan's mic there. Y'all having a good time? Woohoo! So in lieu of a deck, Chris is going to present his website instead. So you're going to see this in action. All right, he looks like he's ready to go.
My name is Chris. I'm the president of Mobile EMR. So I used to work at a hospital for quite a few years, too many years actually. And I don't know if you're familiar with hospitals. When you go to the hospital or doctor's office, there's a thing called EMR, electronic medical records. Well, what I did is I took it out of the hospital, and now it all belongs to us. So on any smartphone in 80+ languages in almost any place in the world, you can have and carry your medical records with you everywhere you go, your dental, your vision, and your pet documents. We've been published in a few national magazines, actually world magazines, EMS World Magazine, Journal of Emergency Medicine. Out of that, I had a company or a city out of Oklahoma call us, and they possibly be implementing our service throughout the whole city. So that'll be with 911, their EMS, their hospitals, and their doctors' offices. If 911 has our service, basically when you call 911, they'll see a picture of you, a list of all your medications that you're taking, your what type of blood do you have, if you're on blood thinners, if you have any visual impairments, the list goes on and on and on. And that's all just fill-in stuff that you have to put in there. It's pretty simple to type it in. The same thing with EMS. When EMS is on the way to an accident, they'll know before they even get there if you're allergic to morphine or Dilaudid, what type of medications you're taking. If you're conscious or unconscious, they'll have all that information before they even get to the scene. Same thing with hospitals. So imagine if 911 puts the information in, the EMS puts the information in, and by the time you get to the hospital, they put the information in. When the doctor opens up the app, they'll know exactly what has happened throughout the whole process by the time you get there. They can upload the medical records straight to the app from the hospital, and the patient doesn't have to worry about it at all. If they don't have it, the patient can upload the information themselves to the app that way. Same thing with the dentist and the vision and the pet documents as well. I come up with the pet documents because I went on vacation and took my dog to the vet and realized I don't carry my dog's paperwork with me everywhere I go. So that's another thing that we added to that. Over the weekend, I had a phone call from a friend of mine. He's got some contacts. He's been in the medical business for 27 years. Actually, he told me that there's actually a country that does not have 911 in their country at all, and they're looking at using our service as their 911 and implementing it in all their hospitals as well. It's really, I think, pretty much, long story short, I try to talk fast, so if you got any questions, let me know.
Well, you got time.
I got time.
Sure. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and maybe what you're looking for?
I'm not really looking for cash for equity so much. The investors that we would like to bring on board is someone that has connections. I did all this myself, from program to marketing to advertising, the whole 9 yards, and it's beginning to be too many hats. You know, spend 30 seconds doing this, 30 seconds doing that. It's kind of overwhelming. We actually launched, launched April 19th this year. We're on all the app stores. I'm in the process of changing the price on the app stores now, and I'm not really sure what that's going to be yet. I know we're going to do a free trial for 30 days, but the rest of it I'm not really quite sure what we're going to do as far as that process yet.
So it's working and ready to roll.
Yeah, it's working and it's ready to roll. Well, we're already in some doctor's offices. The founder of 911 seen me in one of the magazines. He's has some interest and thinks it should be everywhere as well. We're still waiting to see what happens with that.
Great. Question over here.
So you're talking about charging for the app, so this would actually cost the end user in order to carry their documents. What's the pricing for that?
I'm not exactly sure what the pricing. Right now we have it at $29.99, and then we're playing with maybe $2.99.
Okay.
I think it's pretty reasonable to carry all your medical information with you.
Question up here from Eddie.
So, are you able to suck in everybody's medical information from all the places where it is? The 10 different hospitals they've been to in their life?
No, if 10 different hospitals have our service, they can upload that. If you have our app, you can get that from them and upload that.
But I have to do it manually.
That is correct. Yeah, the like your X-rays, your MRIs, your blood work, and all that stuff. Yes, all that would have to be manually uploaded. But as far as like your past medical history, your physical family medical history, all that stuff is you just plug that in right there as you go. I mean, it's type your name, type your address, type your medical information. It's pretty easy to type it in there.
I got a question, actually. So I went to my doctor, and I went to one doctor, and they had me sign in online to put my data, and then I went to a different doctor, and they had me the same thing. It's like, are you combining all that information, or is this like competition to you? Because I mean, it's kind of crazy that there's so many of this coming up, and you have information from one to the other.
Yeah, so you go to 5 different doctors, you gotta log into 5 different websites with 5 different passwords and 5 different things.
Right.
No, that's one of the great things about mine is they all can log into one website. We log into one website. My mom had the same issue, logging into 5. Well, you don't remember everybody's website. You don't remember all the different passwords and all the steps that, because from what I heard is there's a lot of steps to go through and just in order to do that. Basically what ours does is takes all the next gen, the Allscripts and all the big EMR systems, and we've basically developed a way for all of them to communicate. So all the hospitals can have their own individual EMR system. We're not taking the place of those EMRs. We're just having an addition to where they can send information to now where it can be accessed anywhere in the world.
Right, but this is only for hospitals, they're part of your system.
If they're part of our system, that's correct.
So if I wanted to just use your platform and upload the information myself,
you can do that
without being part of the hospital being part of your system, can I do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know much about EMR, but how is security on your app, and do you have liability risks?
We are HIPAA approved. We are HIPAA approved. If we're encrypted arrest in that motion, I'm not an IT guy. I'm not IT at all. But yes, we are HIPAA approved. We've been approved by HIPAA, so yes. That's the first place it's the first thing I did.
What is like your go-to-market strategy in terms of growth? Because there's a lot of people in the EMR space that do a lot of similar things, and
no.
Okay, so I've met about, like, I mean, okay, I'll give you that, but I've met about like 6 people who have companies that deal with EMR records, and they all do it in different ways, and they all say that the problem is, you know, getting the medical records to the hospital, like after you filled in the app or done whatever. So my question is, what's your competitive advantage of competing with other people who have EMR apps or websites or?
We're the only EMR app that works with 911, EMS, law enforcement, any hospital, any school, any sports league, as well as any person in anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world, actually. A lot of those are site-specific EMR systems. You know, St. David specific, Seton, or Scott and White specific. A lot of them they can't integrate with 911.
Okay, we have a question back here.
What if there's an error in your record? For example, you're O negative and they have you listed as an A positive blood type.
That would be something that was uploaded, or that is something that you put in there. You type in your own.
The user enters it.
Yeah, your user enters their own information.
How can that error be corrected?
Log back in and change it.
So there's no automated detection for like, hey, there's a conflict between medical records at different providers?
No, it's you.
Right, but if you go to the hospital and they type you as part of your blood work, and then you enter the wrong thing, and the hospital has a conflict in the error, is there an automated detection system to say, here's something that's life-threatening, the blood type is wrong?
No.
Oh, okay.
Going back on her question about the competitive advantage, what stops like any other company from working with 911 or other hospitals and things like that? I mean, is it like your secret sauce that you can do that? Like they only?
No, I've talked to a lot of the big EMR companies. They don't want to do that. When I first started doing this and developing this, I signed the non-competes. I'd done all that paperwork. And I told them what I was doing. They said, well, basically what you're doing, you're 10 years ahead of your time, because now I'm allowing all these different systems to be able to talk to each other. They've already got their mind set in the direction they want to go. For them to stop doing what they're doing and competing against all these other EMR systems that are in the hospitals and the doctor's office and the dentist offices, for them to stop doing all that and then turn on and start doing this, it takes away a lot of their time, their money, and their energy. And they said they didn't want to do that. They didn't even want to help with the development of this. I'm the one that done a lot of this stuff myself. But at some point in time, will it be competitive? Yes, I'm sure there will be at some point in time.
Okay, we have some other questions back here. Really, really good questions, and this gives you some opportunity to reflect on some things, and people are really interested. Oh, excuse me, I'm trying not to kill myself.
Quick softball question, just so I can counsel myself before traveling to the country. Which country doesn't have 911?
Yeah, there is some out there.
How are you getting the EMRs like NextGen and ECW to talk to one another and share that information across them?
They don't talk to each other. They have the hospitals or physicians or whatever it is has their EMR, their NextGen, their AllScript, whatever it is that they have. Ours is just a separate platform from that you go and upload the records. Kind of like.
They're not talking to one another.
No, we're not integrated. I didn't know. That was one of the questions I was asked when I first started this. Do I want to integrate with anybody specific? And at that point in time, no, I did not, because I didn't want to be stuck with this one person or this one person. I didn't want to lock myself into anything.
Hi, you mentioned that it might actually be able to work as a 911 system. Can you go into how that would work?
Yeah, so basically if they had our service, they would be able to pull up a screen that would show people in there, and the phone numbers, names, numbers, the whole 9 yards, all their information. So when that's on there, a picture of you will show up with your medical information on there that you put in there personally.
Just to recap, so what are you looking for? A developer, a partner, investors?
Yes, that's correct. Investors.
All of the above.
All of the above?
Yeah.
All of the above. All right, thank you. All right, next we have Pop-Up Play, Brian Thomas. He's all branded up with his t-shirt. All right, so we're getting you pulled up here.
This is the next.
Good evening. Let's amplified.
Yeah.
My name is Brian Thomas, and I am the CBK, or as I like to call myself, Chief Big Kid at Pop-Up Play. What we do is we enable kids ages 5 to 9 to imagine, create, and play in a custom playhouse or playscape of their own design. And if any of you are like me, when you were a kid, you played a lot with cardboard boxes and turned them into ships, or you took couch pillows and made giant castles out of them.
Oh, yeah.
And so kids today, they aren't doing this as much anymore because they have much cooler things like tablets, computers, smartphones, and they are enamored with these things. And they're still building things, but they're building them inside these environments, like Minecraft. So like, a 6, 7-year-old kid is spending 3 or 4 hours building amazing things in Minecraft, but that thing is stuck in their tablet or online, and there's no way for them to interact with it anymore. So what's happening is kids are spending up to 7 hours a day on screen time, and a lot of people are worried about the amount of time these kids are spending on screen time. And so, parents, teachers are really worried about this. This is a concern. If you just Google this, you're going to find all kinds of articles, people trying to justify how much time their kids spend on screens and people saying how bad it is. And so we created Pop-Up Play to enable kids to imagine in the virtual world, create in the real world, and then play life-size in a scale that's not available to any kids today in any sort of fashion. And the experience begins in an iPad app that we call the Pop-Up Play Build Lab, and I'm going to show you a bit about how this works. So when you first launch into the app, it's kind of like Google SketchUp for 3-year-olds. You get to pick a framework like a house or a castle or a submarine. And then when you select that framework, you end up with 4 blank walls, and you add structural elements to it. So here we're adding a tower and a roof to that tower. And then we're going to put a drawbridge on this castle, because I like drawbridges, and who doesn't? And then you're going to decorate that castle with some graphics. So we put a dragon on here. You can start small or go real big with the dragon, as big as you want. And now that we've decorated the castle, you further personalize it by creating your own coat of arms. So in this case, this is Amelia, my co-founder's castle. So she's going to create her own coat of arms and put her name in it. And then her name is going to appear over the drawbridge. And their coat of arms is going to go on the drawbridge door itself. So once you've completed your design, we then manufacture this design from super heavy-duty fiberboard, aka cardboard, and we deliver it to your house as a flat-packed kit. Think IKEA furniture, but cardboard, and it's exactly the design that you made in the app. So there's nothing about, there's no snake oil here. You're actually designing your exact design in the app, and we actually manufacture that. So it goes straight from the app to making manufacturing drawings that we actually build to. It's about 4 feet by 4 feet, depending upon the playscape design you've selected. And kids get to play with it, and they play with it all different kinds of ways. So they play with it doing make-believe. This kid here is with a sword and shield. Or you've now got these walls that have your graphics on them that are black and white and deliberately designed to be colored in. So it's a huge, canvas for your creativity. And there's also a really cool feature where when you scan the special code on the castle with the iPad app, it unlocks some cool games. In this case, we have this augmented reality experience for kids to fire catapults at their couch. So kids love screen time, so it's like kind of that complete loop there. But it's encouraging kids to play actively and socially with each other, and still get that screen time they want. And it's also part of modern society now. So how much is this awesomeness? We charge $99 flat fee for every design. There's no upselling or, Dad, can I put this roof on the tower? It's only additional $5. It's pretty straightforward pricing. We go from day of order to delivery 7 days. They're manufactured right outside of Austin here. So if you're in Austin, it's going to get there in a shorter period of time. But if you're in Seattle, it might take up to 7 days. And so, is there anything else out there like this? Not really. We're part of this category that's very similar called Toys to Life. So Disney Infinity or Skylanders, those of you might have heard of those. That's the kind of category we're in. Except we go bits to atoms versus atoms to bits. If you guys can understand that, basically you go into a store, you buy a figurine, that's Disney Infinity, and that kind of takes you back in the game. We go the opposite direction. And that's pretty much, there's pretty much very few players in that category, if at all. So things like Lego Fusion or Disney Infinity, there's Apps to Life, and Build-A-Bear Workshop, which everybody's familiar with from the 90s, still exists today. You can go down to Barton Creek Square Mall, very similar, but that's all in the store there. And then there's Crayola Color Alive, which is augmented reality, that sort of coloring book thing. If you've never played it before, check it out, it's pretty cool. And then Mattel and Autodesk recently made an announcement about being able to 3D print your own toys. We deliver in these categories we have up top here that these competitors do not. You're designing your own. We're actually making limiting screen time part of the pitch, part of the product. We create on a scale that's not matched by anybody. We provide a creative canvas, and of course, it's recyclable. It's made of cardboard. So it can be stored flat under a bed or in the attic or whatever, but it can also just be recycled when you're done playing with it. We're a team of 4 right now, myself with a background in product management, my co-founder Amelia, who's here, background in product design. We've got a guy helping us with video game design who's been a lead on video games that have sold over 100 million units, sports title, but also has a 3-year-old kid and loves this, and then our artist. So we've got a functioning app in a pre-alpha stage. We've got 4 rounds of prototypes. We tested this with kids and parents, over 35 of them. They all love it. This weekend we're at the Austin Mini Maker Fair, so if you actually want to play in one, come on by. And then a week from Tuesday, this is the most important thing, we're launching our Kickstarter. If you go to our website, popupplaytoy.com, you can sign up and get notification when we go live. What we're looking for is adding members to the technical team, people who are willing to work for equity this time. We're bootstrapping this, and we're doing all we can to avoid investment. As somebody who's been a part of 3 different startups, that's actually, I know how important that is. So contact me if you fill any one of those categories of a Unity developer or a game backend. Any questions?
All right, here we go. Oh, you have a question. He didn't have a question. All right. Back here, Karen has a question for you.
I might be the resident mom at the bunch.
I doubt it.
So I love it. Of course, if my kids were 4 and 3 again, I totally would have wanted to get it. Where I have maybe a concern is the price point, because as a mom, anything over $49.99 was sort of out of the, so you are twice that. You thought about, I mean, when you said your competitors, my thought is, what were those competitive price points? Where did they live? And are you twice all of those competitors? So maybe they would love yours, but the price point means that they'll just choose the other competitors, whether or not the things are exactly the same. And the second part is, could you get it down to, what is your margin at 99, I guess?
It's healthy. Because
he wants to play himself.
Yeah. No, actually, that's not much to do with it. I want to build a surviving company without having to get multiple rounds of investment. That's more what it's about. It's customer acquisition in the toy field is pretty, can you imagine, pretty expensive. So typical gross margins for toys is around 50%, which if any of you have been in the electronics business before, you're like jaws on the ground, what? But yeah, that's pretty typical. So anyhow, in terms of price point, the price point, we've done a lot of surveys with people and sort of getting different feedback about the price point. We think it makes sense for the experience we're offering. We're not offering a product as much as we're offering an experience. So if you go to Build-A-Bear Workshop and you drop $60 on a bear that sits on the shelf, that's not the same thing as what we're doing. We often get compared to that because it's the closest thing that exists, but it's really a new category. So it's up to us to help people understand that. And this is a different audience, so I was sort of cutting to the chase. But the sale is more nuanced. We build customers through referrals. That's the primary program that we're going to use. Similar to like the Dropbox model, where you have the double loop referrals, where both people get benefit from connecting with each other. So we can talk more about it, but yeah.
See, and I could see a station of this inside of Toys R Us, and then you just build it there, and then it just gets shipped to you.
I love that idea.
$100, I've got something over here at $49. I've got something at $69 over there. So which one?
Yeah, this is more appropriate for like a Terra Toys type store where you've got small specialty toy stores where you can have a longer, you have a sales staff that can be better trained and they have more control over the merchandising. But that's something we'll talk about in the future.
Great question, Karen. All right, here we go, back here.
So one of the things that you have and the cost that you have built in is the customized printing on the product itself, you know, the dragons or whatever. Have you looked at doing, you know, like just a standalone like sticker kit where kids can grab that when they get it and customize it themselves at home versus printing directly on, you know, the cardboard?
Yeah, but that's just not as cool. Right? Yeah. No, we think it's part of empowering children to be able to design their own toys, right? And doing that is not bad. That's something that exists, and that's a large sticker book. That's not what kids want.
Okay, Chad has a question.
So related to the cost issue on this, I'm curious because I've got 3 kids, and when they play with cardboard boxes, it's not long before those cardboard boxes are kind of torn up. So I'm curious, when you've done your research with your kids playing with this, what is the typical time that the cardboard sticks around? In other words, it doesn't get, you know, kid wrecked.
Yeah, so I think the longest we've got today, just because of testing, is 2 months. They're designed for basically continuous use for 3 months, and they're designed to be stored flat so that, you know, they can actually be used longer than that. And we're also not using your typical cardboard. We're using some double wall stuff that your like toy boxes that your, you know, extra boxes you're getting that we built with kids as kids. They're it's a lot more sturdy than that. You have to come by this weekend. You can check it out.
One more question.
We have time for one more question. Here we have one in the back.
So what's your social media strategy for Kickstarter? I helped a project get to 281% through a celebrity endorsement. Do you have something that's really compelling to get like a staff pick or just drive the initial traffic?
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you. But so our strategy has been around, you know, just organically building Facebook likes and Twitter things like that, and everything you read tells you that's a bad idea. And that's, you know, so far we'll see how that goes. And we're also pitching to a lot of bloggers and things like that. But, you know, I'll tell everybody in the room here, I mean, it's incredibly hard to build a successful Kickstarter campaign. This guy in the back knows for sure. He's probably done, you know, we saw up here and all the funding. He's probably spent weeks emailing, calling, begging, pleading for coverage and building email lists and all kinds of things. One of the hardest things I've ever done, for sure.
Thank you so much. It's so cool. As an instructor at UT in communication, ironically, the students have a really hard time communicating because they're on screens all the time. So I think this is a really cool solution. Okay, so next we have Lauren Foster with Stretch.
One of the things I would recommend for Kickstarter though is get a really good video guy. I think that helps a lot for the Kickstarter to work.
Yeah.
I had to get a quick tutorial on the clicker. Had so many accidents with that. My name is Lauren Foster, and I'm the founder of Stretch Recipes here in Austin, Texas. And we're on a mission to help everyone eat better and save more. And it's all because Cheetos and ground beef changed my life. Now, about 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know, I don't want to date myself. I was at home and my youngest brother came back from grocery shopping, and he managed to blow his entire budget in one trip to the grocery store on Cheetos and ground beef. And I looked at him and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I don't know." And I knew he was telling the truth, and he wasn't just saying, "I don't know," because he was a kid trying to get out of it. But he was saying it because he truly didn't know. And the reason why is because I grew up in a food desert on the south side of Chicago with my grandmother, who was diabetic, had heart disease and cancer. And as a result, she didn't cook very much. So when I got out on my own at 17 and walked into a grocery store for the first time, I had no clue what to do. And it wasn't just me, it's actually over 50 million people who have the same problem. And they don't really know it's a problem, because what happens is they grow up in this place with all this processed food, and they look around and they say, this is what I eat for sustenance, this is what I eat to make me feel better, this is what I eat to get me full. And no one ever stops to say for a minute, like, well, why are they eating all that crap? What can we do to solve this problem? And how come this problem is also connected to a series of other problems in society? Everything from food waste to health problems. So I decided to build a company called Stretch Recipes with the sole purpose of building one app called Stretch. And Stretch empowers people to enter their budget, choose their meals, and automatically get their shopping list and coupons so they can save time, energy, resources at the grocery store, get in, get out, and at the same time help the planet. In terms of the opportunity, and I'll actually speak to what Karen spoke on earlier, there's been a lot of amazing things that have happened in the past year. Last year, I actually pitched here at Cofounders Meetup, and this is at the start of my journey, and since then, I won the TechCrunch Pitch Off for Audience Choice. I've been selected for Unlimited USA as a finalist. I've been a UT Food Lab finalist. I've also been invited to the Web Summit in Dublin to showcase. And most recently, I was selected by IBM as top 5 in South by Southwest and was featured on a reality series called A New Way to Start Up. And I actually used IBM's Watson Analytics to come up with this nifty chart. And I took this chart into Whole Foods with a meeting a couple weeks ago to tell them about how much the market has grown for organics. Now, in terms of the other thing that I'm doing, I'm in a market space that is over $638 billion. And most of the apps that are out right now are targeted towards the $233 billion potential market. And they're sleeping. They're all sleeping on the $405+ billion opportunity. And these are people who are middle income earners. These are people who are on food stamps. And these are people who don't have resources to empower them to go into the grocery store and get in and get out so that they can live their lives. Okay, and I broke the clicker.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I have a company now where we're building this awesome app, but we're also building a mission that can actually change the world. And in terms of doing that, we have to make money. So after talking with Whole Foods, they're definitely down for per transaction acquisition cost. We've also talked about subscription revenue and a billion other potential lines of revenue for this, but right now, for the sole purpose of this presentation, I'll just talk about the $5 billion opportunity that exists from just transaction revenue. And this is not only just engagement and acquisition, but this is also in-app purchases, according to the books, as well as the recipes. And I keep breaking the clicker, so I'm just gonna leave it alone and just say this. Where I'm at right now is I have the app as well as a network. I'm partnered with the Federal Food Stamp Program, a number of the community partners here in Austin, and my network is growing because we're servicing over 150 million Americans. And in terms of my company as well, we also do events, and so we like to have fun. It's not just all about the, oh, woe is me, Cheetos and ground beef. It is also about having a really good time. So right now, what I'm looking for is to build up my team. I have a host of mentors and advisors. That is Adam Thompson, who built my first prototype. And I am looking for a technical co-founder because Adam just got funded for his game called First Earth. And he is off to do that because he's been working on it for 7 years. God bless his financier. How about that? But in terms of my team building, I am looking for people to help, not only on the technical end, but people who are really excited about just having a good time and having parties. because honestly, after a long, hard day, you need a good drink, and having chefs cook for you and inviting friends over is a great time. And that's about it.
All right, Lauren. So, I saw you pitch at TechCrunch a long time ago, and you know what? As soon as you said Cheetos and ground beef, I knew exactly who you were. And that's related to my own startup, the Pitch Academy, because we have to be memorable. And I remembered her because she told a story about Cheetos and ground beef. So I think that fantastic job. And it's good to see you again. And it's so wonderful to hear all of these accomplishments. So what questions do you have for Lauren? Who wants to join her team? Up front, of course. These guys up front are making me work. All right, Eddie.
So how are you going to reach the people that need this most, the people without smartphones and the people who are convinced that low fat, low calorie is going to save their lives?
So, right? Low calorie. These people are crazy, right? Okay, so pretty much where I'm at now is that not only am I partnered with like the Federal Food Stamp Program, the Capital Area Food Bank, the Texas Hunger Initiative, and a number of other organizations, my other strategy is the fact that I've also partnered with technology companies that provide low-income phones to people, and they've already agreed to launch with my app installed on their phones for their next 1 million consumers.
That's awesome. All right, Joe.
So how does the app work? How you're to enter in all these foods? Where are you getting like all the nutritional data from?
Right. You literally enter your budget, and then you pick out the meals that you want.
No, I know, but like, how does it know if it's healthy or not?
So it pretty much works on a couple algorithms in the back, and it's also set to the USDA guidelines for nutrition. And so the second that a recipe isn't up to those guidelines, it's gonna not be put into the app. So.
Great, we have a question over here. Lots of questions.
So for your pricing, notice you have like pricing for per recipe and by the book. For serving low-income families, are they going to have to pay for each recipe?
No, there are free recipes within the app, and we've already partnered with nonprofits that will supply us with those free recipes. So the app will actually be free to use, and then there's also additional recipes within the app. So like, let's say Jay-Z decides to write a cookbook one day, and everybody's excited about paying $75 for it. They can purchase the cookbook through the app.
Such a cool idea. I'm curious because part of your business is about changing behavior, right?
Yes.
So, well, actually, all of it's about changing behavior.
Yeah.
But I mean, part of it to make it effective is for these low-income families to begin cooking meals that are more than just Cheetos ground up in the ground beef, maybe, right? So how do you plan to do that?
So that's where the experience comes in, like as far as like what we're doing now, like we have cooking events that we have for people, and it's not just for low income people, it's actually for middle income people. But we partner with organizations that are very, very good at what they do in terms of teaching classes, and they are heavily funded in order to teach those classes. And so we support them in whatever way we can. And on our end, we like focus more on people who earn between $25,000 and $75,000 per year.
Okay. Question back here.
What systems or databases are you using to pull in the coupons?
So we can pull in from APIs, and we've discussed that, but we're also discussing creating our own specialized system. We're actually going to do a pilot with Whole Foods, so we'll cross that bridge very soon, and I'll be able to answer that more clearly in a couple weeks.
Watson actually creates recipes. Is that the sort of recipes you're using, or
I'm sorry.
Watson, the computer,
Watson's recipes.
Watson's recipes. Do you use those or not?
So Watson's recipes will be in there. A lot of the recipes that we get now are written by one of my in-house chefs and then scaled down by me, because I am the world's laziest cook. And I will put enough in to make it yummy, but not so much that you go to the store with a list a mile long. Question?
So I'm a user who loves burgers and fries, right? And I want to change my lifestyle to go organic.
Have you been to my site?
No.
Okay.
So that's why I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, as a new user and new to, want to go organic, like what's the experience? Like, do I have to go and pick out which, recipes I want, or is it something that's like automated? If I say, okay, this is my budget, and would it pull up the list of things, or I can put in like spare?
So the cool thing about it is it's intuitive, and over time we'll build up to the point where you're like, wow, I'm going in and I'm eating all these amazing things for myself. But we do it in a very sort of, forgive me for a lack of a better word, slick way. The goal is for you to eat better. And so if right now you're just eating fast food, we'd be happy if you're eating canned foods. If all you're eating is canned foods, we'd be happy to get you to eat fresh foods. If all you're eating is fresh foods, we'll be happy to get you to eat organic. And so we personally believe that food and like eating better is an evolution and not a revolution. And unfortunately, the only time it becomes a revolution is when you are diagnosed and forced into that. And in even those times, like you're not there. And so our goal is to actually just build a healthy lifestyle overall. And so what we want to do is transition you through that over time. And so that takes intuitive technology, and that does take time. So.
That's a fantastic answer, especially when I'm going to get this question back here. Especially, it takes time for your palate to change and get used to all that less sodium. Was it back here? Okay. Sorry, Karen.
Question. So you give me the recipe, you give me the food list, I go to the store, I got my food here.
Yes.
I don't know how to cook. How do you teach me how to make that food and change my behavior? Because that's the last mile.
Right. So
how do you do that in a scalable way?
Well, we do cooking videos, and we do host cooking events, and we actually have one on June 26th as a grilling championship. So if anyone's interested in competing or just attending, look it up. But in terms of that, we do partner with a number of cooking organizations. There are so many here in Austin that are really great at what they do, from like Cooking Up Cultures, which does ethnic foods, Sustainable Foods Center, which focuses more on like sustainable resources and gardening and fresh foods and organics and so forth. And so, with us, it's just going to be more media-based. My background is actually in television, writing and producing, and real estate. And so I'm probably not.
She's coming to your house, is what she's saying.
If you really want me to teach you, absolutely. But to scale it, it will be video with us, and then partnering with organizations to do hands-on.
Unfortunately, we're out of time for questions for Lauren. Round of applause.
Please see me after.
That is why we have time for networking afterwards, so you all can discuss these ideas and give her feedback and advice and suggestions. And I have an idea for you, Lauren.
I actually wanted to show the actual website that we'll be giving a prize away of. Is this one, Newco?
Newco.com, right?
Newco.co actually, but they have a lot of events happening, and it's on May 29th, 28th and 29th.
And 3:30, I'm doing a sushi class, so if anyone wants to learn how to make sushi, come on May 29th at 3:30 here at the Capitol Factory.
There you go. So we're going to be giving away a ticket that if you guys want to participate, put your business card inside that thing. We'll do that at the end when the last presenter came into place. And also I wanted to cover this Pitch Academy, which is...
Oh yeah, we skipped my sponsor.
We skipped you.
No, that's why I'm up here, guys. No. Thanks for pulling this up. So I'm somewhat of an entrepreneur myself. I am a PhD candidate at the University of Texas at Austin, Hook'em. I hail from the Department of Communication Studies, and I noticed a problem in a lot of young professionals and entrepreneurs, and it's that they don't know how to communicate their ideas clearly, authentically, or passionately. And so I decided to start this consulting company called the Pitch Academy. And we offer a number of different services, but my primary specialty that's important to most of you all sitting in this room is entrepreneur pitches. So I specialize in that. I've been doing this work for 3 years. Here are my newest interns actually out here. I just have to share with them. They're just joining. This is their first ever entrepreneur event. So it's kind of exciting to share this with them. So again, I sponsor all type of entrepreneur pitches, from the 1-minute elevator to the eat a habanero pepper, try and pitch for 3-minute type pitch that you'll see at South by Southwest, and then obviously the venture capital pitches. that you will hopefully work up to, or if you've not already done them. So I help you with your content, making sure that it's organized and it's very persuasive, because that is the goal here, right? You need to be persuasive when you're communicating your startup, your idea, your experience, etc. So we talk about content. What we'll do is we'll look at your visual aids. I hate Arial font. If you are going to work with me, you're not allowed to use Arial font, and I don't allow a ton bullet points. So we use some really cool tools, make them really visually appealing, and I've seen some great decks tonight, which is exciting to see that. And then lastly, I work on your delivery, making sure that you're confident, that you're excited, that you know how to gesture appropriately, that you know how to get people to pay attention to you, have a memorable beginning, kind of like the Cheeto and ground beef example that we had today. So that's what I pay attention to. I have some cards up here if you're interested in learning more about the Pitch Academy. And this deck tonight that you see was made by my group, so.
Yes, actually, that's what I was going to point out. That's why I put it up here, because she helped us put this.
You should have seen it before.
I have it actually. They've probably seen
we
it
should
before.
do it before and after. We should see it before and after.
That's a big difference. Yeah, I don't know if I want to bring that up right now. But it is a lot better and smoother. So I definitely would suggest to talk to her afterwards. And anybody that pitches, this is one thing we actually partner up with, that if you want to pitch, she'll give you 20 minutes up front to go ahead and tell you, you can tell, I guess, your company, your startup, and show your deck. And she'll give you a little feedback in 20 minutes. And then if you want to continue to use her service, she can tell you more about that. But at least we'll get you something started and, you know, get your pitch a little bit better if you want to pitch to investors and to a group like this. So that way you can show it off, I guess. And not but not least, make sure we get everybody's business card for that price we're going to give away. And
yeah, let's finish up. So lastly, we have Thomas with Sure Up. There he is.
Hi, my name is Tom Coffey, and I'm pleased to introduce you to SureUp. SureUp aims to improve the online insurance shopping experience by enabling consumers to make better insurance decisions fast. Because the current online insurance shopping experience isn't fast. Users typically bounce from insurance company website to insurance company website, answering the same questions over and over again. And that's just to gather quotes. Then you have to make a decision, which can be confusing. With auto insurance alone, SureUp's first product, there are over 110,000 different policy combinations. That's why 7 times as many consumers prefer shopping with an insurance agent as do consumers who prefer shopping direct with an insurance company. Unfortunately for these consumers, the insurance agent has been one of the casualties of the shift to online insurance shopping. So the SureUp solution is pretty simple. We've created the world's smartest, fastest, most helpful insurance agent to help guide you through the online insurance shopping experience. You can see him on the screen behind me. We call him the scorekeeper. We call him the scorekeeper because he gathers quotes on your behalf and scores all the offers based on how they fit your individual wants and needs. The online insurance shopping process with SureUp is similar to other online insurance shopping processes in that it begins with the user completing an insurance application. After the insurance application, however, things differ. We ask users a few additional questions. We call them fit questions that address topics such as their assets and attitudes, because you can't provide a customer good advice unless you know the customer. With the application complete and the fit questions answered, your job as the user is done and the scorekeeper takes over, gathering the quotes, scoring them, and presenting them to you on a screen that looks like this, our policy comparison screen. I'd like to draw your attention to the leftmost column, the SureUp score. That's a single number that it ranges from 0% to 100%, and it's a measure of the overall fit between you, the user, and the insurance policy in question. It's a single number that encompasses everything you should take into consideration when shopping for an insurance policy, from the policy coverage, to the insurance company's financial strength, to the insurance company's complaint ratio, a relative measure of complaints per policy amongst insurance company, and of course, the policy price. So you have a single number that encompasses everything you should consider, And it makes comparisons amongst companies really easy, and it makes making decisions really easy. And once you've made a decision, it's really easy to buy a policy. We work as agents appointed by the insurance companies that are on our platform, so you can check out directly with us. It doesn't cost you, the user, anything. We're paid a commission by the insurance company, and that does not increase the cost of your coverage. So, where am I at? The team, from left to right, you've got me. I spent 8 years prior to founding Incubator, advising insurance executives of some of the world's largest insurance companies as they sought to purchase insurance for either their entire insurance companies or business units therein. Karu, our lead developer, formerly of Mass Relevance and Spreadfast here in Austin, he just moved out to San Francisco to join Inside.com. Also in San Fran, we have Joseph. He's our back-end developer focused on algorithms. We've got Yash, a CS student at UT, working as our front-end developer. And last but not least, Renee, our designer. What are we looking for? Carter is awesome, but for personal reasons, risk tolerance, family reasons, etc., he likes the stability of a more established company, and we're ready for a full-time lead developer. So we're looking for a lead Ruby on Rails developer. Our technical stack shown on the screen, if you're curious for the details, to join the team. Additionally, if you're a growth hacker marketer who has insurance marketing experience, we'd be interested in talking to you. Last but not least, we're just starting to look for some funding. We'd like to raise $500,000. That would enable us to get our auto product live in Texas in August. It'd give us a 1-year runway. Over the course of that year, the funding would enable us to hire 2 developers to support the CTO, a CMO, a marketing associate, 2 insurance advisors. That would also enable us to roll the auto product, out to half of the US market, get our homeowners product launched in Texas, and that still leaves us with $250,000 for advertising expenditures, which we anticipate we'll be able to use to generate users that will give us $115,000 of recurring commission revenue. So, if you or anybody you know could be a good fit for the team, or an investor, please talk to me or contact me. My contact information is at the top of the screen. You can reach me at tom@shereup.co. You can also find us on AngelList. And with that, I will open it up to any questions you may have.
Thanks, Tom. So we have one here. Why don't you go? You can go with.
Yeah, no, it's the actual, you can be on.
Oh, okay. What's your business model?
We work as what they call independent insurance agents, and we get paid by the insurance companies who we generate business for. We get typically about a 10% commission. It varies a little bit from insurance company to insurance company, from product to product, auto versus home, and whether it's a new customer or a renewal customer, but on average it's about 10%.
Okay, question up here.
Okay, could you explain to me exactly how I would be scored? So if I was in insurance companies, right? If I went online, is it I'm saying, hey, I want the cheapest or I want the most coverage or whatever?
Yeah, so for instance, one of the questions we ask, it's on a spectrum. And one end of the spectrum says, I want the absolute best coverage. I'm not really concerned about the price. And on the other end of the spectrum, you've got people that say, hey, I don't care about the coverage or the quality of the insurance company. I just need the cheapest insurance to keep me legal. And then there's people that fall all in between. And then there's other questions we ask. We ask about your assets. So, if you have more assets, you have more need for liability insurance coverage. So there's not any one factor, but through the data we get from your insurance application, plus we ask a few additional fit questions, questions that address your assets and attitudes to get to know you better. We put it all into an algorithm. And it's hard to say, it's not any one question or answer driving it, but it's the whole kind of multitude of factors coming together.
So it's pretty accurate, as in are you getting the information straight from the insurance company, or is this just your algorithm, your type of scoring system?
We created the algorithms. In real time, we pull in information from AM Best, which is the leading rater of provider of financial strength ratings in the insurance industry. We get complaint ratio data from the Texas Department of Insurance and the National Association of Insurance Commissioners. And in real time, we're not directly from the insurance companies. They're actually companies that work, they call them raters. They're essentially APIs for the insurance companies. We tap into the raters ping the data off the insurance companies, and then it flows back to us. But we do get real actual quotes from the insurance companies in real time.
Is this only for, what is it? I mean, like, I'm trying to figure this out. You say you're gonna go to home insurance and car insurance, is that correct?
Our first product is car insurance. Our second product will be home insurance. We're focused on personal lines, property, and casualty. With those two markets alone, you have 250 billion. So that's our first focus, and that you can definitely build a solid business around those two products. If we want to add some additional products in P&C, there's diminishing returns. You have renters, motorcycle insurance. If we ever get beyond that, we have to decide to make a pivot and either then focus on the consumer and then get into life, accident, and health insurance as well, or stick with our property and casualty focus and then get into commercial lines insurance and stick with the P&C. But that is many years down the road, and that's something that, as I mentioned, with the size of the auto and home, we might not even have to do because we'll probably be acquired or sold before we have to do that pivot.
Great question.
Are you guys providing any service after the sale, or does that all go through the individual insurance companies and kind of, I'm guessing then I wonder what's your stickiness, or is it just purely, I come to you if you have the cheapest price?
No, our stickiness, well, I'll address them in the order you asked. We can get involved in claims. Generally, the insurance companies prefer that the consumer goes direct to them with claims. It just cuts out one layer of kind of the middleman in terms of getting things done quickly. We can assist in the claims process. That's where most of the claim disputes with the insurance companies happen. So we can help keep a check on the insurance company. So we're an extra level of protection. We're going to have more say with the insurance company because we, aggregate our whole book of business with them, and we have a big book of business with them versus you, the consumer, who has a small policy. Or if you, the consumer, think, hey, this insurance company's not treating me right, we can say, actually, that's just the way things happen in the insurance industry. So there is a role for us to play in claims. And the other question, the stickiness, is that one, yes, we do. The chances are you find a better price with us because we aggregate quotes from competing insurance companies, and the more companies you see, the more chances you have of finding a low price. But also, the service we provide in helping you move beyond price, and that's one of the reasons insurance companies are going to like this model. They don't want to be a commodity competing on price. And as I spoke to this gentleman about, we help. Some people are looking for just the lowest price, but a lot of people, especially as they mature and they start having additional products such as homeowners, they want to see a company that has a low complaint ratio because they want that company to stand behind their product when they do have a claim. So we can help them differentiate insurance companies, not just based on price. So we'll be more sticky than your average insurance company, A, because we provide that additional service, and B, they can switch insurance companies while remaining a customer of ours.
That's a pretty thorough answer, huh? Thank you.
So what added value do you think this product brings over your typical insurance broker?
Well, it's agents that serve the consumer. Brokers are in the commercial lines. But
well, just to clarify, I have an insurance broker that handles my umbrella, my auto, my home.
He's an agent, but
okay. So what added value do you bring as far as, obviously it's automated, but
it's the online. I'm sure, has your agent ever talked to you about AM Best ratings or complaint ratios? Probably not. So we give you a more complete picture of the insurance. Plus, most insurance agents today, they operate offline. And the world's moving online. So that's the value we add. You can shop, your agent, he probably works 9 to 5, Mondays through Fridays. And a lot of people have busy lives. So they want to shop on nights or on weekends. They don't want to have to, have their schedule revolve around their insurance agent's schedule. So there's the convenience, the online factor, plus the more sophisticated advice that we provide.
Good.
All right, thank you. A big round of applause for all of our presenters tonight, y'all.
And we're going to do some house cleaning. We're going to probably network till 9. And if you guys don't mind picking up after yourself.
Yeah, let's get weird, y'all. It's Austin.
More drinks and food. And we appreciate you guys coming to this event. Hopefully you guys see you the next one.
Yeah, and don't
sign up to the Tech Map, please do so.
Oh, do we have a raffle? We're gonna pick a raffle winner right now.
Yes.
It looks like.
Do I have everybody business card up here? You guys want to run it?
Any last minute business cards that want to get into this raffle?
All right. Well, here we're gonna pull a name out. Go ahead. Yep.
And the winner is Santo Bocado. I think that's you in the green shirt, man, back there. Santo, that's you.
All right. So come see me afterwards, Santo, and actually we'll get you the ticket. And I'll put some music on, and you guys can network. Once I turn it off, we need to leave. So just wanted to let you know. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.